I just got finished watching Dune, and I want to share my thoughts. Just some scattershot things to say about the movie. I liked it. I liked it a great deal. I recommend it if you're a science fiction fan, if you're a fan of the book, the series of books, and I think it does justice to the original novel. Now, the movie actually ends right around the midpoint of the first novel of the Dune series, which is probably good because, unlike in David Lynch's version where they stuffed everything in and it felt very rushed and forced and so forth, here all of the important plot points get a chance to play themselves out, and it's a very satisfying viewing experience. I went into this movie probably more excited than I'd been for a while, but that to see a movie, I mean, there was more anticipation over this film than any other one for the last couple of years. But I've got to say, my excitement over this film was about maybe a quarter of what my excitement was about seeing Joker in October of 2019, 2 years ago. So, that said, I was very, very impressed. I enjoyed it a lot. As far as those concerned about the injection of woke, I think this movie is pretty much certified woke free. As far as having all of the elements of all of the characters being who they are, as they are described in the book. Now, there's one not so major character where there's a race and gender switch, or I don't know. I mean, I don't know if his race is ever described in the book, but I guess we just kind of presume that he's a white man. But in this case, the planetologist who helps them along the way is a black woman. I can't remember the name of the character right now. But the other characters are, there are no other, there's no other substituting out of race or gender for anybody else. More importantly, they don't neuter the character, any of the male characters. They don't make them effeminate. They don't make them weak. Now, Dune itself, the book, has strong female characters, but it also, Frank Herbert seemed to write with his conception, with his point of view about the sex is not being interchangeable. So you have the Bene Gesserit order of witches, and who kind of play their role in steering the course of the Imperium in one way or another. And they have mind powers, and they have, they're formidable. They're a formidable people, a formidable group, but they're not. But they're all women, and so it's a really unusual thing. Not to get too heavily into the plot points, but it's an unusual thing that we have a boy that is Paul Atreides, the main character, the hero, who's born of a Bene Gesserit who has sort of is sort of on the outs with her order. She has a on again, off again relationship with them. But there's talk about him possibly being, this unique, playing this unique Messiah-like role, being a male who masters certain Bene Gesserit powers, like the voice. The voice is so cool in the movie. really, I mean, I read about it in the book, and pictured it a certain way, but they really put it on display in a way that's very powerful. Battle scenes are really good. Special effects are really good. It's not boring. But returning back to what I was saying before, you don't see any of the male characters neutered. There's lots of strong macho guys. The Duke Leto is one. He's a loving father to Paul. You've got Gurney Halleck and Duncan Idaho, who are both badass, male warriors. There's not any scenes of women kicking ass in a way that's you see in so many movies today. There's no 120-pound female beating up 250-pound muscle men like you see so often. So gender roles are left pretty much as they are described in the book. Like I said, the book, I mean, if you're a certain kind of feminist, if you're not a dogmatic third wave censor everybody and everything kind of feminist, you could see there's a certain sort of female empowerment that's promoted in the books, but it's a very different kind than what's promoted today, because it's it takes it for granted that the sexes are what they are, and that women have certain things that they're good at, and men have certain things that they're good at. Women are better witches and sorcerers and psychics and so forth. Men are better warriors and statesmen and so forth. And that's pretty much reflected in the movie. So again, I think that's an important thing to talk about, important thing to take note of. I think certified woke free, unless again you're going to quibble about little bitty things, but there's some things you just kind of have to let go. I think maybe if you want this to be like 1984 again, and you want there to be an all-white cast like David Lynch had in his version of Dune, well, I mean, we're not going to see that. Of course they wouldn't make that. The original Star Wars, everybody, all the main characters, all the extras who were human were white in that movie. That would never happen today. The only black person in that movie was James Earl Jones, the voice of James Earl Jones, who of course famously voiced Darth Vader. So you're not going to see a return to 1977 or 1984 where all the cast and all the extras are white. But I mean, who really cares about that? Good performances all around. I think some people might think that he's too much of a pretty boy or something like that, but I enjoyed the performance of the actor. How do you say his name? I don't remember how to say his name. The actor who played Paul Atreides. He's sort of you see his sensitive, vulnerable side, but you also see this quickening in him of, he's learning his wisdom, he's learning his powers, he's seeing things more and more, being granted visions and so forth. So great performances all around. Nothing really, I don't think anything really to criticize in Dune. So again, if it doesn't float your boat, then don't see it. But if you like science fiction, if you like the Dune series, and you had any kind of concerns, I would say your concerns are there's no problem on the wokeness front, and more importantly, I guess, it's a good quality movie, very well made, very well paced, well acted. You know, lots of nice battle scenes, and you know, an appropriate tone, appropriate degree of reverence for the subject, without going the other, you know, without becoming pretentious. And it's just really interesting because Dune is of course set on a desert planet, and you all know me. You know, my relationship with Star Wars in my childhood. I don't think there would have been a Star Wars if there hadn't been a Dune to begin with. So Dune will never have for me what you know, it will never have the hold over me that Star Wars had and still has, in spite of Disney fucking it up lately. But I have to say, Dune is probably where George Lucas took a lot of his cues, including a desert planet. I mean, a desert planet which also happened to be Tatooine, right, in Star Wars and in A New Hope. So those are my thoughts on Dune. Have you seen it? Are you going to see it? What do you think about what I've said? Let me know.